Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about decluttering and cleaning, but not in a loud and radical way, but more that these two activities are really a gentle practice, a daily ritual of sort that at the end will contribute to your wellness, your well-being, and a very peaceful home environment. So let's delve into the topic. Hi, my name is Reina and this is Small Retired Life. On my channel, we talk about everything and anything to do with retirement and living a meaningful life in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. If you're new, welcome here. You know that moment when you come home from being away and you set your bags down and you take your shoes off and you notice your space all over again. When we're retired, we are home a lot. We are home more than we are somewhere else. And that gives us a completely different relationship with our home. When we used to work, home was a place that we came to for just a small moment of our day. When you think about it, we would leave early in the morning, we would come home towards the evening, and then we would scramble to make dinner or look after children or whatever other tasks that we had to do. And the only time we were kind of really home and maybe enjoyed our space was on the weekends if we were not out and about doing 1,000 other things. But in retirement, we're home pretty much all the time. And as such, our relationship to our space and to our environment in our home is a little bit different. We now have the time to focus more on this home environment. And oftentimes we start looking at our things and the cleanliness of the room, and we start thinking more about it. In retirement, our home becomes a companion, and like any other good friend, it's something that we need to nurture and look after. I used to always think of cleaning and decluttering as a chore, something I had to do. Now, that being said, I've always loved decluttering, and I really have always liked having a clean home. I also prefer a very minimal and almost austere environment. Now, that being said, I definitely also believe that a home should show some signs of life. Back in about 2012, 2013, maybe like around that time frame, I read a book called A Monk's Guide to a Clean House and Mind. This book completely changed how I think about cleaning and decluttering. Instead of cleaning and decluttering becoming a chore, they have become this daily practice. Same way some people practice yoga or meditation or that type of thing. For me, cleaning and decluttering has really become about a gentle daily practice of doing these little tasks and meditating on the tasks and understanding that these tasks are going to make me feel really good when they're done, and they're going to make my home feel wonderful to me. I've written some notes about this book just to kind of summarize what this was about. I'm sorry I'm going to read some of them because I don't use a teleprompter in my videos, so I have to memorize everything, and there's a limit to my memorizing. This book is magical. It really changed my outlook on cleaning and decluttering and how I carried out that practice on a daily basis. Highly recommend. I'll link it below. So before I start on the themes, I should say that this book is written by Shukei Matsumoto, who is a Buddhist monk. So a lot of these principles kind of come from Buddhism, but I don't know anything about Buddhism. I don't practice any kind of religion, but these principles are powerful and I think they're really worthwhile just adopting, at least in some small way, in your own way, to help you go and get towards having a clean home and a cleaner environment and a less cluttered home. So one of the first themes of the book is that cleaning is more than just a chore. And in Zen Buddhist tradition, cleaning isn't just about removing dirt. It's a way to calm the mind and reflect a sense of calm. And I think it's because cleaning in itself, there are a series of tasks, and if you do them as these small rituals, they not only allow you to keep your environment cleaner, but they also allow you to meditate on these little tasks. And there's a certain calmness to doing daily rituals and knowing you're going to do something every day, because it promotes a sense of continuity. It's a continuum, something you can expect, and therefore you feel calm because you know that you're going to be doing it. The second theme in the book is kind of a takeoff on that first theme, and that is the concept that starting your day with intention and not obligation. So apparently monks will start their day with sweeping and making beds and doing some of these kind of daily ritual tasks. And it's not just about the concept of removing dirt, but also just about clearing your mind and setting intentions for the day. When I get up in the morning, I make my bed and I do certain things every single day. And I look at that as setting an intention for the day. I start off with these tiny little tasks, and I know they're going to happen in the morning. And my intention is that if I make my bed and I leave my bedroom nice and clean and I open up the windows and I let fresh air in, it sets me up for success for the remainder of that day. Theme number 3 is in the book is that you have, or you infuse, a sense of mindfulness into every task. Just because it's a small task, like let's say washing dishes or doing laundry, if we focus on that task and we focus on doing it well, it allows us to then bring that into other things that we do. For me, that means when I'm fully there and I turn simple tasks into almost a form of meditation, I feel like I'm actually accomplishing something, and I have a sense of well-being from doing a task well. Theme number 4 is that the act of cleaning the outside connects the environment to our inside as well. And Matsumoto talks about how when we clean things like floors and windows and make our beds and do these daily cleaning rituals, means that we're also caring for our inside, the inside of our mind, because by doing these tasks that make our environment calmer and more peaceful, we're bringing that into our mindset and into our own selves. So we're connecting the environment to our own selves. Theme number 5 is that small, consistent habits matter. And we talk about this on our channel, how if we do just a small little thing, but we do it every day, it's like the 1% rule, that over time builds up into something meaningful. And so this book reinforces the fact that by doing these little things on a daily basis, as part of our daily rituals, we actually end up achieving some wonderful things. So think in terms of decluttering. If you declutter just even one small item, but you do it every day, over time, you have cleaned a lot of items out of your home. Finally, the last theme is theme number 6, and that is being grateful for the things that you have. When you touch your objects and the things in your home, being grateful for those things and what these items allow you to do or how they make you feel. It's important to express gratitude, because if you're grateful for things you have, you're less likely to go out there and shop for more things or get more things that may not necessarily enhance your life. Let's talk about decluttering. Oftentimes, when we are decluttering, we impose this sense of judgment or self-criticism on ourselves. We look at all of the things that we have and we say, why is it that I have this? Whatever possessed me to buy this item or to keep this item? I really believe that in the spirit of cleaning like a monk, instead of beating yourself up and asking yourself negative questions, maybe the question to ask is, how did this item support me where I was at in that moment when I purchased it or brought it into my home? Often we bring things in or we keep things because they support a specific aspect of our life. Think of clothing. We often buy clothing for a life that we don't actually have. I'll go into the store and I see a beautiful dress and I really want the dress. But now I stop myself and I ask myself, do I have a life that supports me wearing that dress? Or is that dress simply a means of making me feel like I will have a life that I don't actually have? So this is the relationship that we have with many of our things. Many things we keep either because they represent a part of us that perhaps isn't there, or they represent something that was important years ago or months ago, and it's still hanging around, but it's no longer impacting us in the same way, or we don't actually need it anymore. Or it has sentimental value. When we look at the object, it makes us think back to either happier days or reminds us of people, of our parents, our friends, so on. Oftentimes, people also go into this huge decluttering moment because they want to become someone new. They think if they're going to declutter their home, they will become someone new. And I would say that instead of thinking that way, taking some of the principles from cleaning like a monk, we should think about who was the person that we were, and who are we now, and what are the things that support us currently and in this moment of our life. Decluttering is about removing things from your environment that take up space, that no longer serve, or that no longer, as Marie Kondo would say, spark joy. If we're gentle with ourselves through the decluttering process, and instead of criticizing the fact that we have this item or we've kept this item, and really think about how this item contributed to who we were, and question whether we need this item to support who we are now, is a more positive way to go about decluttering. One of the things that I really enjoyed in this book is that there wasn't an emphasis on how clean things are, but more about your approach to how you clean. Decluttering becomes especially powerful in retirement because we're not just getting rid of stuff, we're actually getting rid of versions of ourselves. When we retire, the questions should be, will this serve me now in this new chapter of my life? Is this item or this object needed in this new adventure that I'm embarking on? And stop berating yourself about how much money you've spent on it, or the fact that it's taking up space and you're not using it. Thank it for the service that it gave you, and then let it go free into the world. One of the most powerful ideas in this book to me was the concept that cleaning is this daily reset. You're wiping a counter, you're remaking your bed so that it's all fresh for when you get into it again. You're putting away items that are laying around the house to make your home clean, to be able to touch each item and decide if this item should still have a place somewhere in your home. Don't laugh at me, but these little rituals for me provide an anchor. They provide a little bit of structure, and they're that little ritual that says, yes, I'm still here, I'm still alive, and I'm doing things. And maybe they're just little tiny things, but they make me feel really good, and they make my home pleasant to be in. The monks teach that outer order supports inner calm. And I have to say this is so true. When my home is tidy and I only have the things that I'm actually using and that I need to support my lifestyle, my mind feels calmer because my energy is not going into all this stuff that is just sitting there and making me anxious because it's sitting there taking up space, getting dusty, or will be needing repair if I'm not using it. I am definitely not saying that you have to live in an austere white environment or even a very minimal environment like mine is. I certainly know that not everyone enjoys a lot of white around them, like I have in my kitchen as an example. And a lot of people like having things around them. It makes them feel happy. What I'm talking about here is removing things that make you anxious, that make you feel like there's just too much there. If you're a quilter and you have tons of quilting fabric, that is not something you should be removing. If you're a knitter and you have a ton of yarn, that is not something you should be necessarily removing. Cleaning and having the ability to clean your home and make it fresh and make it feel like it's a place you want to be in is so important in retirement because, like we've been saying throughout this video, we are home so much. And cleaning our home is important so that we feel like this home is good to us. We feel good when we're in it. A lot of people start off the new year, and there's a lot of New Year's videos when it concerns cleaning and decluttering, and it's going to be this huge process, and it's something you have to embark on, and you're going to do this radical clean out and radical declutter. And what this book is saying is that you don't want that. You don't necessarily want to be doing that or thinking like that. What you want is for all of this cleaning and decluttering to be a daily ritual, something that makes you feel good and gives you peace. Mass decluttering and weekends spent cleaning things out don't always make people feel good. They make them feel anxious. Sure, if this is something you feel you have to do to get started, honestly, I get it. I tend to be one of those people when I want to lose weight, I always seem to be more motivated. If I lose a lot of weight right at the beginning, that first couple of weeks, it makes me motivated to actually stick with it and do more. So some people, maybe in decluttering, you're one of those people who have to take everything out and do this mass huge declutter to kind of get to the place where you're doing these daily little tasks. But honestly, just like crash diets are not sustainable, and often when people clear out too many things, they bring too many things back in to replace them because the house looks empty. Doing these little tasks with intention, doing them daily, making them a practice is so much more sustainable for you in the end. So this is my video on cleaning and decluttering this week. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments in the comment section below the video. And I will see you all at the same time next week. Bye.